Three things I wish very much that I knew when I was 20 or even younger. The first thing is that it is okay not to know something. I, like many people, many people, had a difficult childhood. And I also had siblings that were a lot older than me. My one sister's 14 years older, the next sister's 11 years and my older, and my brother's 8 years older than me. Uh, there were two pregnancies that didn't work out between my brother and I, but in any event. So naturally, they were, mentally and emotionally advanced from where I was when I was a child. And they could tell these funny jokes and do all these different things that I couldn't do. And so in my mind, I just never measured up, and I was never smart enough. um, and boy did I want to be smart. So I ended up, as a coping mechanism, like, no matter what the thing was, what the topic was, what the subject was, I always acted like I knew the answer. And I'll tell you one very embarrassing, actually, and very embarrassing story. This is how much pretending to know something can be harmful. Um, I was dating this guy who was asthmatic, and I had never dated anybody, nor I didn't have anybody in my family that was asthmatic. And I forget where we were, but we had stayed over a friend's house, and um, he didn't feel well, and he had a really bad headache. And he said, what should I take? And I said, well, I'm not sure, but I have Advil with me. And he goes, well, I'm asthmatic. Can I take Advil? And I'm like, I'm sure you can. There would be a big sign on the bottle if you can't. Yeah, you can take Advil. Guess what? Or whatever he took. It might have been Tylenol. Whatever it was contraindicated for asthma. Consequently, he had an asthma attack, and I had to rush him to the hospital. He was fine. Um, but you think I would have learned that lesson then? I mean, I got better after that about pretending to know, but it wasn't until much later in life when I was doing some spiritual work. And I don't remember exactly what I was working on, but I was doing like a mental exercise to handle some trauma. And suddenly I got how much I've been pretending to know things that I don't know, and how it was like within me, even if I didn't know the answer, to make up an answer or pretend I knew the answer or whatever it was. It's so embarrassing to admit all of this, but um, yeah, I finally got in that moment, in that meditation, I don't know. And it's okay. So now I walk around going, I don't know. And I'm okay with not knowing. It really is okay. I mean, when I used to work in an office, I had a very somewhat high power job in an office, and I was in charge of a lot of different things: HR, facilities, and operations, pretty much the whole thing. But anyway, I needed to know the answers. So in that case, I might say, listen, I don't know, but I will find out for you as soon as possible. But still, I admit when I don't know. And I also got a really good sense of humor when I made a mistake. I could say, oh, wow, I screwed that up. Well, I learned from that. So, number one lesson, dearest 20-year-old me, it's okay not to know. Don't pretend you do. The second thing I wish I knew was that there is nothing inherently wrong with me or you. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't things or attributes or, you know, coping mechanisms or trauma that you want to heal or even change. That's fine. But there's a difference between wanting to be a better person, wanting to improve, and having this utter internal belief that is always functioning that there is something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me was my, you know, like invisible belief, but it was always running like a program in the background of a computer. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on courses and trying to fix it. And again, I am not saying there's anything wrong with taking a course. It's wonderful. Um, there's nothing wrong with going to counseling. I did that as well, and it was very beneficial. Like if you feel like there's something you want to change and you want help, go for it. I am not saying don't. What I'm saying is inherently within you, there's nothing wrong with you. You are part of the divine. You are worth it and worthy just based on you existing. You know, like as another example, take two flowers, you know, a rose and an iris, or a rose and a daisy, right? So daisies are considered maybe more common. Is a daisy any less worthy as a flower than a rose? No, inherently it's a flower, and its worth is that it exists. And even if it's a bud just coming into being, it's worthy. And even if it's dying on the vine, it's still worthy because of its inherent existence. I don't know if I'm explaining this as well as I would like, but the bottom line is you exist. You're worthy just from your existence. Here's a better example. A baby that's just born, all right, doesn't know algebra, doesn't know how to drive a car, doesn't know a million things, but it's still worthy. Its worth is not in its being a sister or a good mom or a good brother or a good doctor or a good office worker or whatever the thing. Its inherent value is being a human being, and you already are that. So, while I advocate for, counseling or taking a course to improve yourself, ultimately, after hundreds of thousands of dollars, I still had this hole thinking that there was something wrong with me, and I was still chasing to fix that. And finally, just recently, again, I was doing like a meditation on another subject, and just out of nowhere, I got that there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing to fix. Yes, I still want to improve. I still want to grow. I'm still going to work on myself. I'm still going to work on healing some trauma. Sorry. It's really big to say this. There's nothing wrong with me or you. Okay, so that's lesson number 2. Lesson number 3 is that, and this I got much later in life too. Apparently I'm not a quick learner. That all the love that you so desperately seek and search for and try to get is within you and all around you. Let me explain what I mean by this. Again, I was doing, some work on some trauma, work on myself, and I suddenly saw how for all of my life up until that point, I was striving to get love, to get people to like and love me, to get approval. I think most of us have this in one way or another. Granted, those of us with a troubled childhood most likely did not get the love that we deserve as human beings. But in any event, so my mom was not mentally well, and I was always trying to get her to love me. I tried to be perfect to get her to love me. There, I have another video about perfectionism. I tried to get all my boyfriends to love me, and I would change myself to do that. And there was all these other mechanisms, coping mechanisms, all kinds of mechanisms to get people to love me. And again, this one day I was doing this meditation, and I probably have read this thing, this, what I'm going to say next, in a million spiritual books, but there's a difference between knowing it in your head, like having read it, and knowing it in your heart. And I finally got in my heart that when I give love to people, when I am, let's say, in love, in the space of love, just being love, love is pouring through me. And more than I can imagine is showering down on my head. And it's like you're sitting in love. So that's where, I don't even know how to say this, that's where the love that we all so desperately want and seek is. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. In that moment when you are giving love and sitting in love, like people talk about being in the present moment. When you are in love and appreciation, whether it's in nature, whether it's just others, even strangers, when you are in that space, divine love is pouring through you. And trust me, it is more than you could possibly imagine or need or, think you want. It's just beyond compare. Sorry, I'm very emotional. These are big topics. But anyway, so just know that the love you so desperately seek is right here in this moment. If you open up to it and be it and decide to give it, and the more you give love, the more it flows through you and is all around you. I hope these lessons were of some value to you.